Welcome everybody to the X Factor podcast today. On this Monday morning, we're getting right into it here with some Monday Night Raw talk. We got a lot of Raw stuff to talk about today, and we're gonna get right into it. The Twitter is is X Factor MG5654, X capitalized, MG capitalized. Or just look up X Factor Wrestling with a slash in the middle, in between the X and the Factor, just like my YouTube page. I'm going to be posting on TikTok soon. Get on that. And I've also been thinking because, Kick is doing something big now. I am thinking about just doing a lot of my podcast stuff on Kick. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about me going on Kick. So that is one thing I will stream every day. I will stream either the day after the shows or right after the shows. I will let Twitter know. Like I said, the Twitter will always be my number one source for everything. So that's really what I got for that. We're going to get right into it. We started off with Rhea Ripley receiving the new WWE Women's World Championship. I kind of knew this was going to happen after Asuka received the Women's Championship on Friday. I kind of expected it to be the blue title. Or not blue, white like it was with Asuka's title. My opinions on both titles, I think both titles look amazing. I think even though it's got the big old W in the middle, it's pretty much a branding thing. There's nothing you can really do about it. I can admit though, the titles back then, like 2000s and all that, those were way better looking titles than they are now. But we're in a new era. We don't want everything to look like the old. And that's pretty much what they're doing here. I'm pretty sure we're going to get the same thing with tag titles too. It'll just be a W in the middle of their tag titles at some point. Intercontinental title is probably the only title I would really have a major problem with. Because that title's probably the only title I think should go back to its old lineage of, like it was before they became this. And, with Rhea, with the white, with the world title, that looks clean. That is like a clean looking title right there. Only problem I have with the women's roster right now on Raw is I feel like it's weak. And that's what is the problem with Rhea Ripley's title run so far. So, and it also in the middle of the segment, Cody Rhodes came out and challenged Dominic Mysterio to a match at Money in the Bank because he doesn't think Brock Lesnar is gonna accept his challenge because he says he has no balls to do it. So Dominic accepted it. We finally get a match between Dom and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank in London. It's gonna, in my opinion, this is a perfect scenario for Dominic Mysterio as a heel. Because right now, Dom, they've been, with Ray, it's easy to get someone to boo against, boo. If Ray's in a rivalry, it's easy for the heel to get booed. And, after WrestleMania and Backlash, trying to get that, boos, it was hard. To me, it seemed like it was hard. And now with Cody Rhodes, another really big baby face coming up right now, boom, you get your spot and you just come up right with it. And Dominic, this is, last year, a lot of us expected him just to go back to NXT because how, bad he was. I can say in the ring, though, Dom can get a little better, but he can, of course, do that over time. And same thing, with Cody Rhodes, he's just perfect in everything. So, but he did have a match with The Miz, which was something that we got into right after. So, after that, Cody Rhodes faced The Miz in just a regular bout. And for a little bit, I thought the match was okay, but I realized there was some bad things. I went back and looked at some of the things, and it was a couple of spots that didn't look that good. I don't know if that's really Miz's fault or Cody's fault. It was a bit sloppy. Same thing with our last year's matchup. It was sloppy, a lot sloppy. But I feel like with a lot of people, it's just one of those things where you don't fit good working with that person. They don't got the chemistry, even though they've been around each other for a while. But it's just one of those things where you don't really, you don't have that connection with them. Kind of like how Brett had with Shawn, Undertaker had with Shawn, Rock had with Austin, type of stuff. Ray had it with Eddie. You know what I mean? It's some people don't have that. Like Miz and Seth can have bangers because they've had matches before, a lot of matches before. Finn and the Miz, they've had them before. Perfect. It's just with Cody Rhodes, it's just one of those things where it could go just them not having the right things untimed. And it could not either one of those faults, because Miz right now is having a comeback year, in my opinion. If there's a comeback year of the award for wrestling, that'd be my pick. And speaking of awards, next Monday, before SmackDown and Rampage and Collision reviews, I'm going to make my own personal video of, in my opinion, mid-year wrestling awards. It'll be the X Factor Wrestling Mid-Year Awards. And that's what we're going to go with. We're going to have we're going to have Show of the Year. We're going to have Worst Show of the Year, Wrestler of the Year, Women's Wrestler of the Year, Title of the Year, Best Match, and Worst Match. Underrated and Comeback Wrestler of the Year. And that's just so far what we've come up to. So let me know down below if there's any other awards you want me to hand out to. Like I said, there's quite a few that I have listed, and there's a lot of guys that I know. And then we'll have, of course, Match of the Year and Worst Match, all that stuff. So, and then Storyline of the Year. So, like I said, we're getting into those half-year awards. January of next year, we'll have our full-year awards. X Factor Wrestling Year Awards, so that'd be something special for that. So, but back to Cody Rhodes and The Miz, like I said, it's just one of those things where they don't have the chemistry to each other, and that's probably why it was sloppy. And like I said, it's gonna be like that with a couple of people. So, right after that, Becky Lynch had a backstage promo segment talking to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Came out and she was talking about how she's never won Money in the Bank. That's the one thing she's never did, is win Money in the Bank. I don't think she should win it this year, because we haven't got the full ones, but I feel like with Trish, I don't feel like it would be the right thing to have right at this moment. Zoe Stark came out, and my God, and I love Zoe Stark, but I know I said this a couple of months ago. She does not have the promo skills well. It was a harsh. When it's one of those things where you gotta look away. It was, in my opinion, it was bad. And, there's people saying, there's one in particular asking about a promo school, if that company even has a promo school or something like that. Well, they probably do, but like I have said multiple times before, and I'll keep saying it, promos can get fixed after a while. You got people backstage that can help you. You need to have, and I feel like nowadays if you don't have a personality, you're not really going to succeed, especially in WWE. In AEW, yours can be, I can wrestle good. There you go. Claudio, he's personality-wise, he's going to beat the hell out of you, and he's going to enjoy it. Same thing with Bryan Danielson. And guess what? It's got him well. In my opinion, sometimes you got to look at the wrestling more than... If you have a wrestler that's good at promos but not good in the ring, that's a little bit of a problem. But if you have a guy that's bad on the mic but good in the ring, that's really upside than the other way around. Like Steve Austin, he was amazing on the mic but wasn't the best wrestler. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you don't have one, the other ones you're gonna have to rely on, and they won't remember if you're a bad wrestler or a bad talker. Well, if you're a good wrestler but a bad talker, they'll remember that. But if you're a good talker and a not so good wrestler, they won't remember it in particularly, but they will still at times know about that. So that's really what it comes down to that. And like I said, Zoe Stark, she could, in my opinion, she's just coming in there in the business. She's coming up from NXT, and she's talent wise is something special. Promo wise, like I said, it's something she can work on. That's why she's with Trish. She's doing this thing with Becky now, and she's got Triple H around her. One of the best promo talkers in the business with Triple H, and she's got so many people around there that can help her. So I feel she's gotta give her time. You know what I mean? She's gotta give her time. But Becky Lynch had a match after that, and I believe Kevin Patrick, my God, that man needs to get out of the commentary table. He is so awful. He might be the worst one that Raw has ever had. I think he might be the worst one. And he is just awful on the dude. It's really, it's like a pain to watch. Like, I'd rather have Byron Saxton there so we can argue with Corey Graves for 3 hours. Because if you notice, Corey Graves ain't that good either without Byron or Michael Cole there. So I feel that Kevin Patrick, they need to get him back into the backstage or bring up the one from NXT that's with Booker T. I can't remember his name. Vic Joseph. Bring him up because he is amazing. And when it comes to NXT, they need to start having NXT tryouts for commentators too. Because Kevin Patrick would be perfect down there with Booker T. And Booker T, he's gotten worse commentary over the years. So, just pointing that out. But, she had to take on Chelsea Green. And it was a not long match, but it wasn't a short match either. It was right in the middle. Of course, so right after that, in my opinion, Chelsea Green is one of Triple H's best hires back. And I said it a couple weeks ago. I wasn't on last week, family issues going on. But I said a couple weeks ago that she is one of Triple H's best hires. And her with Sonya Deville is perfect. Her with Carmella was perfect. And I feel like if they keep building her up, she could get up to the main card at some point. So, and she's not a bad wrestler either. If you've seen her days in Impact, I watched her last match in Impact against Mickie James. Amazing. And Becky, of course, won. I thought it was a good match. Like I said, my main thing off of it is Chelsea Green is really one of Triple H's best hires. And really, the thing is with Becky can make a couple of people look great, but then can make a couple of people not look great. And that's really what I get noticed a lot sometimes. And Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green are really underrated talents, and they don't get utilized, or they don't get the respect I think they deserve. So that's really what I gotta say about that. We got a Judgment Day backstage segment. Finn Balor, after what happened last week, kind of looking out of there a little bit. And Damian Priest, he's going to have his match with Riddle, tells everyone just to stay back. He doesn't need him. And, Rhea asked Finn, what's wrong? And, he said he just got a lot on his mind, which we'll get into in a little bit. And that's when Damian Priest says he'll go out alone, stares at Finn as, he goes to the ring. And, Rhea's like, he got it. It's nothing. But I feel, right now with Finn and Damian, it's getting more intense. And I think it's more of, Damian Priest saying he doesn't need Judgment Day to help him win. Like he's had the last month, year or so. But we did get Damian Priest and Matt Riddle match. In my opinion, it is second best match of the night. they, in my opinion, the time that they had a really good matchup. They both, you know, got their time that they did, and Riddle is really, and gimmick wise, last year I hated Riddle. Oh my god, I hated Riddle, and when they brought him back, I'm like, okay, and now with what they did with Riddle last week with taking out Giovanni and his ankle, and then plus this week. This is the Riddle that we needed. Not the one that's all doped up and, making jokes all the time. The Riddle that we have now is the best Riddle, I think, in my opinion. And, Priest won and got his way with a Razor's Edge to London for Money in the Bank. And, in the middle of it, Gunther tried, or I think it was after the match, Gunther and Liquid Kaiser tried to take him out or whatever, or took him out, and it looks like more now we get Riddle and Gunther at some point down the road, which I think is going to be good. And with Riddle has a big chance, with the Riddle that we got now, Riddle has a chance to beat Gunther, but Gunther right now, he's so powerful. It's just one of those things where you don't know if you don't think anyone's beating him. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Gunther changing the name from Walter to Gunther was probably the best decision made. And that was a Vince, I think, idea. So Gunther is a lot better than just Walter, in my opinion. So just gotta call that out. And, Cody Rhodes got a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly after his match with Dominic. It was made official later down for Money in the Bank. And he says Cody said that everyone is pretty much gassing up Dominic. And, Brock Lesnar won't show up. Dominic won't go away. And, Cody knows since he lost to Mania, all eyes have been on him. And they really have. They really have been, everyone's eyes have been on Cody Rhodes. Because if he loses, he gets down on his story, but if he wins, he's back up to his story. And he's running towards, that path to finishing the story. And, he's saying no one's going to knock him off his path. And we all know his path is to beat Roman Reigns. Whether they do the same thing they did last year with Theory, and, he wins his match against Dominic and gets put in Money in the Bank, don't know. I don't think that'd be the right thing to do. If they put down a stipulation saying the winner of the match will be like the 8th man in the Money in the Bank, because later I'll talk about it here in a little bit about Logan Paul, but if they do that, I personally think that it would look good, but if they just announced Cody Rhodes would be in it, it'd be more of a heelish move, and I don't think a lot of people would like that. And, the Money in the Bank could go a long way for Cody Rhodes. So, just saying. Natalya got a backstage interview after the segment with Cody Rhodes. And he said, and pretty much Natalya hasn't been the same since her loss to Rhea. And she keeps saying to herself, well, she doesn't know how to be her anymore, and leaves, pretty much. I think they're trying to tease to Natalya heel turn at some point. I know as of late that she hasn't been the old Natalya, and I know I get Natalya's older. She's slower. She's not as good as she once was. But I still feel if it was for a mid card, that's where everything would work. And I'll get into that here in a little bit when I talk about Shayna and Ronda Rousey here. But like I said, Natalya, mid-card would be perfect. And then Kevin and Sami got a backstage segment where Gunther and Liquid Kaiser come up to him and pretty much said they wanted the title match. And Kevin Owens went off. Oh my, this man is stressed, man. He needs to take a nap or something. He just needs to calm down. And they got their title match. I'll get into that here in a little bit, but just got to point out they did get a segment where they got a title match. So, Um, we got to end this year backstage segment where Jinder Mahal says they weren't satisfied with last week's beatdown before the match with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and they need an actual match to actually finish the job. And I love the way they're building Indus here right now. I feel right now is like the momentum for the Indus here, and I feel like later down the road they're gonna be one of the best tag teams, in my opinion. And how Vince brought Veer last year, I get it was like supposed to be like this dominant guy, but Vince has done that with so many people. It's like you just know it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Now with Jinder there and and I can't remember his name at the moment. Saga, and I feel like with all three of them, it's just gonna be one of the best. And I want to know why Jinder's just a manager now. I don't know if he's hurt or whatever, but I want to see him back in the ring a little bit, But that's just me. So, Bronson Reed defeated Ricochet by DQ, and after what happened with Bronson Reed a couple weeks ago, losing to Shinsuke, he was not happy whatsoever. So he got a match with Ricochet, and he beat him a couple weeks ago. And in my opinion, the more they keep giving Bronson Reed these longer matches, the more he gets better long term in the ring. Like, there was a time a month ago, where he would have those 5-minute matches, but if he went anything over 5, he would be gassed out already. And now with Ricochet, having Shinsuke, Bobby, doing stuff with Theory, it's really helping him get up to, that status where he could go 20, 30 minutes. I don't know with his size they could be able to go 20, 30 minutes, but I think the best they could do is 15, 20, and that's the best you can ask for a guy like Bronson Reed. But with Bronson Reed, his size, he's one hell of a talent. But of course, like I said, the match I think was good. That, like I said, the longer they go, I think the better Bronson Reed gets, even though he does look like he gets tired. And I feel Ricochet, since leaving Braun Strowman, or since Braun Strowman had his surgery, let me back that up. This is now his time to get his main event status up. And I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, Braun Strowman getting hurt with a bat was a good thing, because him getting back fusion, hope he praying on a good recovery, is not a good thing for anybody, or neck fusion or whatever. I hope he gets back in the ring soon. I hope we get a main event Braun Strowman like we used to get, and then we'll get on from there. But Shinsuke took out Bronson Reed in the middle of the match, causing tension between Ricochet and Shinsuke, which, honestly, that rivalry would be lit. And then Bronson Reed tries taking out both of them, and then and Bronson Reed wants to go up to do his tsunami splash on Shinsuke, and, Shinsuke caught him, and pretty much him and Ricochet suplexed him. The spot looked ugly. But, good thing no one got hurt, because it looked ugly, but it looked cool at the same time, knowing that they didn't get a big guy up like that, so. But Bronson Reed does get Shinsuke next week, so that'd be fun. We got a backstage interview with Adam Pearce, talking to someone on a phone. And I've always wondered who he's talking to on the phone, I always wonder who he's talking to. I always wonder. I don't know if it's like Vince, Triple H, whoever. But one of these days I want to know. We need to know who that is. So, but that's when we find out Ricochet's trying to beg to get a Bronson Reed match next week. Shinsuke said he can have him after he's done with him. I feel Bronson Reed needs to get put in the Money in the Bank with what they're doing with him now, because and this is like Shinsuke, Ricochet, Bronson Reed, and Shinsuke's a main event talent, but when he's in that mid card scene, he thrives. He thrives when he's in the mid card scene, and he helps guys like Ricochet and Bronson Reed up so much. And their mid card division is so stacked, in my opinion, that they could, with Shinsuke helping them too, it's gonna help them later on the road when they need to face Gunther or something. So, Finn Balor came to the ring. We said he called out Seth Rollins, and he had stuff on his mind. And all I gotta say about this promo, the fans ruined it. I never have a problem with Seth Rollins and the fans doing his song, but when they're trying to talk, like, come on, please shut the hell up. We want it, and that's really what ruined it. And for a while, I've seen people complain about the song, but that's the only time I've ever really complained about it, because we know the history between Seth Rollins and Finn, and they tried to get it all hyped up, but all we hear was whoa, whoa, all that type of thing. And in my opinion, it just ruined the promo. It really ruined the whole promo. So, but we do get a Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor at Money in the Bank, which I think is going to be some fun stuff. I feel like it'll be better than their match they had earlier this year. I don't think it'll be better than their SummerSlam match though. So, but Seth Rollins said he wanted the old Finn Balor, not this new Finn Balor. He wants the old Finn Balor. So, just depends what we get. Then we got Shayna Baszler versus Raquel Rodriguez. In my opinion, the match was not good. For the time they had, I didn't think it was good. And I got up, and they had this unification match coming up with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. And I feel like with the two titles they have there, make those in the mid-card titles. Shayna gets one, Ronda gets one. Turn them into like a U.S. title or Intercontinental title. Turn them into something. Or turn them into a women's European title. Or a women's... I can't see cruiserweight, but... it's around that ballpark, or a women's North American title for NXT or possibility. Like these tag teams are really ruining this whole women's... Because I feel like they need to get more women involved, but it's kind of hard when they're all involved in tag teams. And that's where you get the tag teams out, you put the mid-cards in, and you help people like Natalya, you help people like Shayna Baszler, who a couple years ago was facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the title. She's one of those people that doesn't have time left until her career's done. She needs to get up there. Raquel, she needs to get up there. She ain't main event talent yet. Ronda Rousey needs to get better. She could get in that. Like I said, Shotzi, Xia Li, Lacey Evans, all those, in my opinion, put them in that mid-card scene, boom, they thrive. They thrive like a baby. So, Chad Gable defeated Eric. Like I said, not a good match. Slow. Actually, good match for Chad Gable. Chad Gable, in my opinion, underrated. Needs to go solo. And he's pretty much the Kurt Angle of this generation. So, and then backstage with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. This is where everything falls into pieces now. So, Finn Balor talking to JD McDonough, and by the looks of it, it looks like he's trying to recruit JD McDonough. Damian Priest comes up and asks him about the Money in the Bank, or they both got questioned about Money in the Bank, like if Damian would cash in on Finn if he won, and Damian said no, he wouldn't. Which, in my opinion, if he did, that'd be crazy. That would be insane. I feel now with Finn talking to JD, I feel like now it's like, who is gonna turn on who first? Is Damian Priest gonna turn on Finn first, or is Finn gonna turn on Damian Priest first? I'm leaning towards the Finn turns on Damian Priest first, just because he's talking to JD. I feel like he's getting this jealousy in there. And if JD and Finn Balor, if you put them two in a tag team, Irish Aces fits the whole picture right there. So I personally feel that that's what they should go with, and it'd be perfect. So, Logan Paul, ready for this one? Logan Paul returns next week. Rant incoming. Alright, so we're getting into it here with Logan Paul. As if you see on the thumbnail, you already know what I think they're doing. I think next week they're going to show Logan Paul entering himself in the Money in the Bank. And I swear to God, if he wins it, the day after Money in the Bank, I'm going to have a field day. And it's going to be a massive field day. And you people can sit there and tell me how good of a wrestler he is. I don't care. Because you want to know something? You really want to know something here? When Brock Lesnar took the Universal title, 2017, held it for 500 some days, took a couple months off then and there, how many of the people bitched? Everyone bitched about it. When Roman took a month and a half off last year and kept taking every other month off, people bitched. But yet, Logan Paul can take 3 to 5 months out of the year off and come in and he gets automatic to the spot. If he was a full-time wrestler, I wouldn't have a single problem. But if they announce Logan Paul's going to be in this Money in the Bank thing, I get it, but if he wins it, that's where I'm going to have a problem. Because you got people like in that match like Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Santos Escobar, LA Knight. In my opinion, LA Knight already deserves it over everybody. In my opinion. And if they're seriously about putting a title on Logan Paul, they got to be the dumbest company in the fucking universe. I don't give a damn how good he is. People bitched about Brock and Roman in their part-time schedules. What's the difference with Logan Paul besides he's a celebrity? If he's a celebrity and he's already had more matches than Bad Bunny, so you can't really compare his schedule to Bad Bunny's schedule because he's on that part-time schedule with he's on the part-time schedule list. So if you want to sit there and say it's because he's a celebrity, that ain't gonna work either. Because that's taking opportunities away from people that have earned it, in my opinion. So if Logan Paul announces that he's gonna be in there and he wins it, we're gonna have a problem. If he comes into it and it leads up to a match that he's gonna have at SummerSlam, because I bet you he's gonna have a match at SummerSlam. Fine, add that match to SummerSlam. Cool, whatever. But if you're going to have it where he's going to win Money in the Bank and he's actually going to cash in on somebody, fuck that. If that happens, you're going to have a rant. The rant of the century is going to come up here on the X Factor podcast. So, just point that out now. But we're going to get into our main event. My opinion, match of the night. It'll be up for match of the year contenders. If you haven't seen my weekly awards, it'll be on my Twitter, and I'll also announce them at the end of this video. So, but in my opinion, this match, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, in my opinion, was the best match of the night. It's going to be up for match of the week contention. Damian Priest and Riddle were going to be on it, but I seen this match, and that's going to be on the match of the week contender. If Damian Priest and Riddle were that good, I would have put them in that spot. But Gunther, I don't think he's ever had a bad match. Kevin Owens, amazing. Sami Zayn, amazing. Ludwig Kaiser, he's getting built up like the rest of them, and he's getting up there. I think he's good. So, match I think was good. Sami and Kevin retain. I think the next spot we got to see is who's going to win the gauntlet on Friday. So, but we're going to get into it with weekly awards. And like I said, go to my Twitter, XFactorMG5654, or just X Factor Wrestling, X/Factor Wrestling. So, Match of the week, Gunther versus Kevin Owens last Monday. Worst match of the week, The Acclaim versus Spanish Announce Project. Show of the week was Raw. Segment of the week was Adam Cole and MJF's promo, which I typed Adam Coke. Wrestler of the week will be Seth Rollins, and Women's Wrestler of the week will be Sky Blue. So, like I said, next Monday we'll be getting into it again with weekly awards, but that'll also be mixed in with our half-year award video as well. You all stay tuned. You'll hear from me again on Tuesday or Wednesday morning when I get my NXT reviews. So, y'all stay blessed. Have a good day.